Yep, 6 o'clock minutes.
I think it's 6 o'clock, time to start the June 21st regular city council meeting. I'd like to welcome everyone to our meeting tonight. If I could ask everyone to turn their cell phone off and stand and join me on the pledge flag, if you would, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, and again, welcome everyone. Consideration and adoption of the agenda. Any corrections to the agenda?
Mr. Mayor, if I might take a moment. Two items on the agenda that we have under old business A1, planning and zoning rezoning request number 2015511.
Okay.
I have a communication from the property owner's attorney to officially withdraw that rezoning request from consideration.
He's withdrawing it, so if it comes back up again, it'll have to be advertised and public hearing on it.
Yes, sir. They'll have to start all over again from square one. They'll just have to start with a new application and re-advertising and the whole process from the beginning.
Okay.
I also have under new business B2, Cannon Place LLC, public hearing. Because of an advertising error, we had to re-advertise and repost that property, and that public hearing is going to be moved to next month, to July 19th meeting.
Okay, come up July the 19th.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other corrections to the agenda? Your motion it be approved as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Motion to second. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, executive session. Dana?
I'd like to request an executive session for the purpose of discussion of pending litigation. Whether you'd like to do that at this point in time or move it to the end of the agenda, that's certainly up to you and the council.
Okay. Let's, with agreement with the board, wait till the last thing on the agenda for the executive session, move executive session to the last thing. Have a motion? Second. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Item 4, regular council meeting May the 17th and executive session May the 17th. No corrections to the minutes of those meetings. Chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Have a motion. Quincy, have a second.
Second.
Linda? In discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Okay. Under acknowledgments, proclamations, and resolutions, there being none. Old business, planning and zoning has been removed. Item A. Okay. Item 7, new business administration. We have a statewide mutual aid and assistance agreement. This is in case of an emergency, storms, earthquakes, fires, or whatever might come along. We got to appoint someone to serve as a representative for the statewide mutual aid assistance and appoint somebody. But we have Chris Grimes. I think Chris is here tonight, isn't he? Chris Grimes, and explain the program here. Chris, if you would come on up and explain to the board what's this all about. I think we know, but got a certain, I think, the agreement that we have to adhere to with the, state.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor Gravitt, council members. My name is Chris Grimes. I'm the Deputy Director of Emergency Management here in Forsyth County. And we handle the emergency management services and coordination for both the county and the city. And so I'm here tonight with the statewide mutual aid agreement. This is something that is renewed every 5 years with Georgia Emergency Management Agency. And what we do is try to go ahead before a disaster strikes is go ahead and get some things in writing and some agreements in place, because when a disaster strikes, it may be a tornado, just a whole host of things it could be, to go ahead and set some agreements up so that if we have to call in additional resources from around the state, it could be from next door in another county, or it could be as far as South Georgia. You just never know how wide the impact might be. This goes ahead and sets some things in place such as reimbursement, liability, immunities that exist through the Georgia Emergency Management Act that GEMA oversees. This agreement is between the City of Cumming and the Georgia Emergency Management Agency. And the city, through emergency management, would be the requester or sender to any requests that may come out through the state. So I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Council have any questions? Thank you, Chris, for coming, explaining it to us.
Yes, sir. Thank you all very much.
I think it's up to us to appoint, just in the event we have a major catastrophe, whether it be a flood, stormy weather, earthquake, or whatever. I think the board needs to appoint someone to satisfy FEMA and the state, the National Guard, and everyone who will be involved in this from the standpoint, as their legal counsel was explaining earlier, that Dana, you might bring us more up to date on what the legal requirements we need to do.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this agreement is a uniform agreement that is being executed in the same form in every community throughout the state. What you're required to do, if you see fit to approve this agreement, is in Appendix A and Appendix B. In Appendix A, we have to, in addition to our chief executive officer, which is of course the mayor, in addition to the mayor, you're requested to list 2 or 3 authorized representatives. My recommendation there would be city manager, assistant city manager should be authorized to request emergency services. Perhaps the mayor pro tem. The mayor is automatically authorized by the first paragraph of that. And then in Appendix B, we have to designate fiscal officers who can sign the check to reimburse somebody that provides us services, or who can handle that financially. And my recommendation there would be, they ask you to list 3, would be the city manager, the assistant city manager, and your clerk, because your clerk is in essence, your chief fiscal officer. So those would be my recommendations. And we just need some direction from the council if you see fit to approve this.
Okay, I think, obviously if you have a catastrophe to come, the news media's got it all covered up, and they're going to want to speak to somebody, and usually it's the mayor. In the case of the city of Cumming or municipal governments throughout the state. And question number 1, what are you prepared to do? So we got to be ready at all times, as Chris was explaining earlier, and so I'd mimic what Dana had said, that obviously the mayor would be appointed, and also the clerk to write the checks, but to advise the clerk, I think we'd need Gerald as manager and Steve as city manager to also be appointed. So those 4 is what I'd recommend to the board that we appoint. Would that be sufficient, Dana?
Yes, and we'll just fill them in the appropriate side. In other words, you and Gerald and Steve would be the authorized representatives, and Gerald, Steve, and Jeff would be the ones that write the checks or authorize the checks.
Chair will entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the statewide mutual aid and assistance agreement as presented by the mayor and our attorney.
Got a motion to have a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council.
Item 2, Georgia DOT right-of-way request. If you notice in your packet, you got a little map there that shows what the DOT is requesting of the city of Cumming. And it's right out, actually it's right out in front of City Hall. They want to have a greater turning radius, and they're wanting .002 of the city land, which is a little sliver of the corner out there, and they've made a appraisal of $2,200. But my recommendation is, if the state's going to pay for it and do it, bring it back up to code and repaint the sidewalks and do all of it, I'd recommend to donate it to the state. I have a motion from Quincy that.
Second motion.
Second. Lewis, any discussion? All in favor? Okay, the .002 acres that the state's requested to be donated, and they'll be notified of that.
Mayor, this says 3/1000ths of an acre in this, in our agenda packet, so,
Right.
okay.
Yeah. Just a small sliver of land. Have a motion and second. All of you in favor? All of you voted?
Yeah.
Okay. Unanimous. Okay, Georgia Mountain Regional Commission appointment. The county has sent us a letter that the agreement with Forsyth County, the Chamber of Commerce, and has already agreed that they were in favor of reappointing Robert Long, who serves on the Chamber, and requested the same of us. So as far as I know, I haven't heard any complaint. Robert has done a good job as far as I know, so I'd recommend to the board that we reappoint Robert Long as a joint appointment between the city and county.
I make a motion.
Have a motion to have a second? Second. In discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, under planning and zoning, item B, comprehensive plan, not an update, but it's appointment. If you notice in your packet, the city's got to appoint some members of the city council along with planning, zoning and planning members. And it's been proposed by the staff that the planning and zoning members be appointed to serve, and the mayors would appoint 2 council members, which obviously they could have meetings in reference to this without having to advertise or either call it an official meeting, because we wouldn't have a quorum of the city council present. So I can appoint 2 members on there, and Linda, would you want to serve on that
Love to.
zoning board, rezoning?
I'd love to, thank you.
Okay, it'd probably be pretty time consuming. Who else? Christopher, you got time to serve
Yeah.
on that board? Would you?
Yeah, I'd be honored to.
Okay. The mayor will appoint Linda and Christopher to serve on the board, and we'll appoint 2 laymen, and we don't have those 2 to serve on the board.
As in the
also.
general public.
They'll be appointed at,
Okay.
or I'll get up with those to make sure we can get 2 laymen to do it. I haven't talked to anybody who wanted to do it so far. It's not an easy job to get anybody to do. Okay, do I hear a motion that 2 council members be appointed?
So moved.
Second? They have a second?
I'll second.
Second. All in favor of appointing Linda and Christopher? Unanimous. I think it was unanimous. Any opposed? Okay. All right, item 2 is under planning and zoning. New business has been postponed to item 3, Sanders Road change order. You notice in your packet where Sanders Road is open and it's completed. We're getting the last bills in, and the last bill was a bill for $25,000 for bad soil during the construction that they had to haul out of the road bed and replace it with surge stone and red clay. And this was a change order that's been requested and been approved by the engineer. And of course, I think, Steve, you've gone over everything with this, haven't you, Steve, and everything's okay? Okay. So the chair will entertain a motion for the change order for $25,000 for Sanders Road.
I make a motion, we're gonna have to pay it. Can we
Have a
pay it?
motion from Linda to have a second. Second, Quincy. In discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, under item C, parking lot number 3 at the fairgrounds. Steve, you've worked on that, I think. I think Dave's going to talk about it. Dave's going to talk about it. Okay, Dave.
This is a request for paving in lot number 3. We did a third of the parking lot last year, and what we're asking for is another third to be paved this year. And that's based on the price per ton, which you already approved, I think, the last meeting. And And then if it does get approved, then I would work with the contractor on scheduling around events. We definitely wouldn't want it to start before July 4th, but, possibly soon after. So we get it done by the fair. But we're asking for a third of the parking lot.
This is part of you, on your budget.
Yeah.
Okay, the third, is this the bid proposal? Of course, the council approved the asphalt at our last meeting per ton, what it cost to put it down, and of course, it'll just be based on that, and the low, I've got this bid proposal in the packet. Is this a bid for that, Steve?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's just, we went with Jasper Grading, who had that low bid, and I might throw in that Dave might not even be aware of. We had last year, or year before last, our boiled out the belly to give us some cost estimates on the way that's broke down. And for this particular section, he had put down, he thought it was going to cost $172,000, and they turned in their quote of $162,000. So we're actually $10,000 less than what our engineers thought it would cost,
Okay.
based on those prices that y'all approved earlier this year.
Okay, we have a bid proposal on the contractual agreement with the low bid of the asphalt, which was Jasper Grading, for $153,626.40.
I make a move, we accept the bid of
A
Jasper.
motion from Linda to have a second. Second Quincy. In discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Okay, item 2 is the fireworks ordinance. Dana?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, as y'all were aware, the state has recently changed its regulations and laws related to fireworks, and one of the things that they have left for local governments to regulate is what we allow on city-owned property. And the purpose of this ordinance is to provide in essence, a regulation that in the city of Cumming, all city-owned properties, no one other than the city or people that we designate would be allowed to shoot fireworks, so that if you want to shoot fireworks off at the fairgrounds, the only entity that could do that would be the city of Cumming as opposed to some private individual. And that's the purpose of this ordinance, to fill the void that's been created by state law. They allowed us to regulate it. This is our ordinance to regulate it. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
All righty. Yeah, I like this ordinance. It's only a page and a half.
Yeah.
We're aiming to please, Mayor. I know you like short. Short
Okay,
and
what's the
sweet.
pleasure of the board? Have a motion? To adopt the ordinance. Have a motion. Have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council.
Okay, under item D, utilities. John, you've got a basket full of you. Here, it looks like. Highway 369 water line bids.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. We advertised for bids for this much-needed water line along Highway 369. This line, we will be able to take off our final large county meter where we buy water from Forsyth County. Over about a 10-year period, we'll be able to pay off this water line by not purchasing water from Forsyth County. So we had 5 bids ranging from $649,939.37 from the low bidder, North Georgia Pipeline Incorporated, all the way up to GS Construction Incorporated with a bid of $841,931.62. And the city's engineering firm, of course, tabulated all the bids to ensure accuracy, and you did research on all these companies, and it is their recommendation, along with mine, that we accept the low bid from North Georgia Pipeline Incorporated in the amount of $649,939.37, the low bid.
Okay.
John, why don't we take that line all the way to John Burris while we're going?
Well,
That way we'd be up there at the crossroads. We could go anywhere then, and you know, Bramlett's gonna be coming up there real soon, and it's gonna come to Bramlett.
that's a great possibility, Mr. Ledbetter. We can also do a change order if we need to do that, because we have unit pricing to install pieces of pipe and fire hydrants and valves. So if that's the desire of the board, we can move forward with adding on an additional section to go all the way to John Burris Road. We do have an outer arch that we're trying to fill in, and it goes from Hendricks Road all the way past Setting Down Creek over to John Burris, over to Doc Bramlett, and then down a little ways past the Smith Garden Products. So that segment of the northern arc, as we call it, for the water system does not exist currently. And we're trying to fill that in. And of course, it's been our policy through the years to get developers to put those in at their own cost. And, but the first leg that we wanted to do was from Hendricks Road to Setting Down Creek, so we could take Rose Creek subdivision offline and take it off of the county's water system and put it on the city's.
In other words, it is your plans to go ahead and loop that whole thing. That's the plans.
That's the desire.
Yeah.
We're trying to do it a
Well,
little
see, there's
piece
gonna be a
at
lot
time.
of commercial stuff within that intersection there.
That's right.
And to have that water there would be good for that.
Yes, sir, I agree. And we can
What was
look
Rose
into that.
Creek on? What was Rose Creek on?
Rose Creek is on what they call a master meter. In years past, before our water system matured fully, we would purchase a large meter from the county, tap into the county's line, and then we would sell water to that subdivision. That's what we did at Rose Creek. But now our system's grown to the point where we can get that 12-inch line over to that meter and take it off so that we're no longer purchasing water from the county, and we're using our own water and selling it to the customers.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we have a request of Utilities Department from North Georgia Pipeline to continue the loop on 369 12-inch water extension for $649,939.37. North Georgia Pipeline Incorporated, low bid. Recommendation of the staff. That should have a motion.
I make
Make
a,
a motion that we accept the bid to run the water line.
Have a motion from Lewis, no, second from
Second.
Linda. In discussion.
I think you might want to look into what Lewis said.
Yes, ma'am. We will do that, and we'll bring a report back to you. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 2 would be request to advertise for bids for Hughes Drive, Mountain Road Water Booster Station with the tank. John?
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we've performed a study on the properties that are at higher elevations in our service area. Most of those are on Sawney Mountain. One of the first areas that's requested water that's at a high elevation is on Hughes Drive and Mountain Road. And what we want to do is construct a water booster station there to pump water up Hughes Drive and then install a water tank, about a 250,000 gallon water tank on the top of the mountain up there. It should be hidden from the public because it'll be in amongst the trees. It won't have to be up on legs like the ones we have or on a pedestal. We've been studying this issue for about 4 years. Some of the citizens up there are on well water and their wells are failing. You may see a picture in there of some really muddy looking well water in your packet. They've approached the city several times about constructing a system. So we wanted to study the entire mountain as a whole, as an upper elevation type service area. And so we've got some plans in the future to hook in other pump stations to make it a complete system so that the entire mountain is covered with water service. And but phase 1 would be to construct this Hughes Drive Mountain Road booster system and to start and put the tank up at the top, and it would provide fire flow and water service for all the citizens in that area.
Council have any questions?
John, is that elevation got up there on Hughes Drive higher than our water tanks we got at Hendricks and
It is, yes, sir. That's the problem, is that all the water tanks are, all the same elevation around our system. This is land that's higher, so we'll take a pump and pump it up to tank up
Yeah,
on
I
top of
know,
that
just
hill.
when the elevation is different.
Yes, sir, it's different, and that's why we've got to address it in this manner.
Those people living there ain't never had no force. You know,
They wasn't gonna
they
see
got
what
water
it
at one
They weren't gonna
house,
see what.
but they don't have no force because the water's not getting up.
It's just not getting up there. It's a lot of elevation up on that mountain.
And doing this will allow us to do some different things in the future from there too. Is that what you were saying?
It will. This is a piece to a greater puzzle.
Okay.
It's solving an issue that's a pretty hot issue right now with these citizens that have bad well water. But we haven't been short-sighted. We've tried to look into the future and plan so that the whole mountain could be served by water. And this is just a piece of the puzzle that'll plug in to the other systems that we plan, years down the road.
I make a motion that we advertise for the bids to complete the booster station.
Have a motion from Lewis to advertise for bid to Hughes Drive Mountain Road booster station with the tank. Have a second, Dave. Second. Okay. In discussion. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much,
Thank you, Mayor and
John.
Council.
Item 3, request to change water connection fees for Hughes Drive and Mountain Road. This is, John's coming in there with a way to pay for it now.
So what we want to do is to be able to generate enough revenue to pay for the system. It's going to cost additional money, and these folks are higher in elevation. And I've been talking with the citizens, and they're in agreement and understand that their impact to the system is going to be greater, and that they're going to have to help with the cost of the system. And it's our recommendation to move the water meter fee from $1,200 to $6,250. And $6,250 is currently one of our sewer rates that we charge for someone to hook on to the sewer system. So it's not an unusually high amount. But this will help us. This is an expensive project, and we need folks to help us pay for it. And this is what we've decided the best manner would be, is to raise the water meter fee. So once you buy a water meter, you've paid your share of this system.
Right. And you also, on the same as the water meter and the sewer, you're requesting both of them be the same? You got two recommendations here?
Yes, sir. We broke those recommendations up on the council agenda, so we have
two separate roads up
yes,
there,
sir, that's
Mountain Road and Hughes Drive.
Yes, sir. On Mountain Road and
okay.
Hughes Drive, the water meter fee would be $6,250.
Okay, we have a recommendation, staff and Director of Utilities to $6,250 per unit, per meter, to replace the $1,200 per unit for this, and that's just for these two roads, Hughes Drive and Mountain Road.
Mr. Mayor, what I'm recommending is that if anyone ties on in that higher elevation,
Okay.
they might be across
Right.
the way.
So it's
but-
anyone that is in an elevated service area, moving forward, if we deem it to be an elevated service area, it'll be $6,250.
Yes, that's correct.
What's the current number of people on Hughes and Mountain Road?
Hughes and Mountain Road is around 35 homes.
Okay.
So, over time, as each one of
Sure
them
is.
decide to hook on, not all of them are interested at this time to hook on, but 6,250 will cover a large portion of even this project. So,
Great, thank you.
They have a motion?
I make a motion that we go forward with it.
I have a motion from Lewis on the change request fees on Hughes Drive and Mountain Road. Have a second?
Second.
Second. In discussion. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous.
thank you, Mayor and Council.
Okay, John, thank you. Item 4, request to advertise for bids for Twin Branch at Highway 20 Sewer Booster Station.
Go ahead. Okay. Yes, this is a project that's in the southeastern quadrant of our sewer service area. Eccles Road is a loop road. The southernmost branch is close to the Chattahoochee River, and there's a large tract of land that has been sold, and the developer's, the builder's name is Meritage Homes. It's a large home builder in the area. And we've been working with them for about 4 years, and the project finally came to fruition. And we've told them that they had to pay sewer capacity money and bring additional money to pay the total cost of this wastewater pumping station in Force Main. That has taken place. We've collected 100% of the revenue required to build this system. And so what we're asking is to be able to advertise for bids to construct, it's on a road called Twin Branches Road, which is right off of Eccles Road, and it's close to the Chattahoochee. We want to request that the mayor and council allow us to advertise for bids. This is one step towards the final pump station, which would be at the corner of Highway 20 and the Chattahoochee River. That pump would pump to this one, and this one, of course, pumps on over past Mashburn Elementary School to another pump station. As you go down towards the river, of course, the elevation changes and everything has to be pumped back up the hill towards the wastewater plant. This is part of our sewer master plan. We've studied the entire service area. This is one of the stations that we defined that needed to be built, a critical station. The good news is that we've generated enough revenue to pay 100% of the cost of it. We do have to get bids, of course, and the bids could be a little high or low, but for the most part, from our projected cost, these fees that we generated and collected will be able to pay the cost of the station. And so I'm asking for permission to advertise for bids.
What is the capacity of the station? So this is being built for the Meritage Homes development, but it's to serve that area,
Yes.
really? Okay.
So what we do, we break our service area up into drainage basins. So every drop of water that would fall, like by rain, in a drainage basin travels through the creeks and the ditches all down to one point, and that's where we put the pump station. Then we look back into that drainage basin and we say, well, how many homes could be built in here, or how many commercial businesses could be built in here? And so what's the ultimate amount of sewer capacity that's needed? And when we define that, we define the peaking factor, which might be 1.6 times the average flow. And then we size pumps and pipes according to that ultimate build out of that drainage basin. And of course we use, future land use maps and all that, and those are subject to change.
Right.
Way in the future we might need bigger pumps slightly, but for the most part, these stations are built to take all the flow of all the wastewater in that drainage basin and convey it to another area, and all those have been studied too downstream. So part of the engineering process.
Okay, we have a request. Anybody else have any questions? Have a request to advertise for bid for Twin Branch at Highway 20 East Sewer Booster Station.
Since the builder's paying for it, you can't beat that. I make a motion.
Have a motion from Linda. Second, Quincy, in discussion. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Okay, item 5, John. Request to change sewer connection fees for Twin Branch.
Similarly to the Hughes Drive issue, we need to generate more revenue in this drainage basin. And the reason for that is that we're getting close to the point of needing a second wastewater treatment plant. The new wastewater treatment plant, the first phase of it is projected to be $75 million. The final phase is another $75 million, putting a project out there at $150 million that is looming in the future. So we're trying to save money now through connection fees to build up our reserves to pay for the wastewater treatment plant in the future that's going to be needed. So we've been in discussions and looked at the connection fees in the Twin Branches area. Remember, we're taking all this money and we're investing it in the wastewater pumping station. So we can't take any of that money and put it in reserves for the wastewater plant. So we want to generate more revenue in that basin to save money for the new wastewater plant. So it's our recommendation that we raise the sewer connection fee in the Chattahoochee River Twin Branches drainage basin from $62.50 to $82.50, which also equates to $33 per gallon per day. We've established a set rate for residential units in our system. It's based off of 250 gallons per day per residential unit. Commercial entities, we determine how many gallons per day on average that they will be using, and then we multiplier rate, which in this case would be $33 per gallon per day, to generate what, thousands of dollars maybe a commercial entity would need to pay to hook onto the system. So the numbers are $82.50 for any residential unit and $33 per gallon per day for any commercial entity in those drainage basins. That's our recommendation, so that we can generate revenue for the new wastewater plant.
Yeah, say that again. It's how much for any resident? 82.50?
In the Twin Branches area, which is Eccles Road south towards the Chattahoochee River, in those areas, we're recommending any home be $8,250 to connect onto the sewer system.
That'll be a home that already exists.
It could be that, or it could be
A new
a new one that's being constructed in that area. And in addition to that, if it's a commercial business that comes in, we're going to charge them $33 per gallon per day.
Are
So
there
the
any
Toyota
homes?
dealer at the corner of Eccles would pay $33
Well, could
per
have,
gallon per day.
although we've already
I
sold.
mean, it's already established,
Right.
but moving forward, a project like that.
Yes, sir, that's
For
that's
example.
correct. That's correct.
About how many homes are in there that might have to pay this?
Oh, wow. How many homes?
Good many that would pay that?
It may be maybe
Elevated fee.
500 or 1,000 homes in that area.
Yeah, this is just to connect, whether it's a current home that's on septic or
That's
if it's a new
correct.
home being built, it's just connection fee.
Right, it's the
The
connection.
ones
fee.
there now is on septic, and if they came on, it would be this fee, which would be cheaper than building a septic system.
We're talking about for two
Okay.
separate districts, right? The Chattahoochee River District and then the Twin Branches. Those
Twin
are
Branches,
two.
which one, the Chattahoochee pump station would pump to Twin Branches, I keep hitting that, I'm sorry, and it would pump over. So those two drainage basins are two, we've still yet in the future, maybe 5 years down the road, need to build the Chattahoochee station, but we haven't had any interest in that area yet. So once that comes on, we'll try to build that station, but anyone that connects in those areas would pay the $33 per gallon or $82.50 per home.
Given that we've addressed three connection areas, going back to the elevated service area and then these two, do we need to look at all of our service areas and address pricing across the board?
That's up to the mayor and council. If y'all would like for us to do a study, we can do that. We do.
Part of that service area is in the county down there, though. If you go on the west side of 20 is county.
More the south side, in that area, 20 is a little bit more
Okay.
east to west.
I just mean, these are substantial increases, and I agree with why we need to do it, but, do we just need to step back and look at all of our service area pricing and say, is it time to adjust for today's growth and economy and pricing?
That's something we could look into.
Well, if you're
Yes,
building a home, you'd certainly go with this rather
Oh, yeah.
than putting in a septic tank.
Sure,
Because
it's
that's
more
just-
reliable, for sure.
And there's all kinds of problems with the
Right.
septic.
Right. And the way the lots are so small these days, this day and age, it's hard.
Well, nobody wants to be on septic.
Nobody does.
Given the choice.
I wouldn't want to.
So when the septic tank fails, these people might as well come on this system rather than,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, any other questions? We have a request.
On this and the Hughes Road, there's maps that's in the package. In future reference for these fees to be charged, it might be a good idea if the motion's included, that these maps be recorded, so in the future, it's easy to track where those charges would be traced to.
Any,
Whenever we're billing, whenever our departments are billing in the future. So we might want to put that in the minutes.
right, be on record to show what fees the city charges if anybody wanted to.
Sure.
If you feel comfortable with these maps.
Sure, yes, sir. That would be good.
Okay, we have a request to change the sewer connection fees, Twin Branches, Highway 20, and also Chattahoochee. You said this would be Chattahoochee also?
Drainage basins,
River
yes,
District,
sir.
Chattahoochee
River
River
Plan.
District, okay. $82.50 per
Yes, sir.
unit.
That's correct.
What's the pleasure of the board? To have a motion?
So moved with the addition of the $33 per day per gallon for commercial.
Have a motion, Chuck. Second, Lewis. In discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Okay, John, item 6, request for condemnation here.
I think this is the last one, Mayor. Yes, we've been working with citizens along Bethelview Road. I know I've come and asked for other condemnations. They were in other projects. We have the Bethelview Road water line and sewer line, and then we also have, in this case, it's the Cheatham Creek gravity sewer and force main. This is part of the force main project, and we're requesting that the mayor and council give us the authority to condemn property at 4041 Bethelview Road. John Ingram is the owner. The parcel number is 079-019. It's a 10-foot easement. We are currently in negotiations with him, and we may be able to settle it tomorrow, but we would like the authority to work with the city attorney to condemn this property.
John, is the attachment says it's 20 foot? Is it just 10?
Yes, that was my error. I actually wrote that and drew that on there. It actually is a 10-foot easement. I looked at it today. We were talking with the property owner today, so it is 10 foot and not 20 foot wide. It's about 1,500 square feet.
Is the issue you're just too far apart on price to negotiate much further, or?
No, it's just difficult to work it out.
It would
Not-
behoove
it's
the
not a
property
price
owner
issue.
to have the sewer.
Every effort be made to work it out rather than this, but John needs that okay, just in case he can't get it worked out. He needs condemnation.
We will do everything we can to work it out. And
I have
And they get appraisal on it, and usually after the appraisal, that's negotiated, and usually it's more than the appraisal on any condemnation we've ever done, but he'll get an appraisal and go through the process and try to resolve it before it's...
No, I have every confidence in their ability and that you will try. I just didn't know the issue, so.
Is this different than the parcel that came up 2 or 3 months ago where the
It
person?
is.
Okay.
it is. It's in a different project. That's why
Okay.
it didn't come up with the other set.
Okay.
We believe we'll settle it tomorrow, honestly.
Good.
I have a motion on the
Make a
request.
motion, we condemn it.
I have a motion from Lewis. To have a second? Second Quincy. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand.
John, how many
Unanimous.
linear foot is that lot?
The easement itself is about 1,500 square feet. It's not a very big easement, so,
That'll increase the value of his property.
yes. That's always my argument. Thank you for your patience, and thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you, John. Okay, under announcements, we have Cumming Playhouse, Chuck Wagon Gang, 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. on June the 25th. At the Fairground, July the 4th festivities, that'll be on a Monday. And the fireworks is on the Sunday night. Is that correct, Dave? So Dave's inviting everybody to come down to the fairgrounds, the 4th of July festivities, and the 3rd, which there'll be vendors with food and dance contest and all of that going on. And of course, Monday morning at 10 o'clock, July the 4th, we'll be assembled for the Thomas Mashburn Steam Engine Parade, and everyone, the parade will kick off right out here on Pilgrim Mill right here.
Riders this time.
We'll have some new riders, yeah.
We ain't had no new riders in several years.
I rode last year.
I know, but we gonna have some more riders.
So that, any other announcements? I hear a motion that we adjourn for executive session
So moved.
to discuss legal matters and potential litigation. Got a motion and a second. All in favor signify. Raise your hand. Unanimous. Thank you. Thank y'all, everybody. No action taken. Coming out of executive session. I hear a meeting to adjourn the regular meeting.
Second.
All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much.
It's over with.